Hey folks, Brendan here from Bluelight with another video and podcast for you to help you succeed in the police recruitment journey and in the promotion process if you are a serving officer. Now, this video podcast is primarily for those people who are looking to get promoted from PC to sergeant, sergeant to inspector. We're doing a huge amount of work recently with so many people who are being successful. One of my clients has just recently shared how they came top in their boards for a big force. I'm not going to mention which force it is because I don't want to embarrass them, but they came top by a long way, and they followed the sort of guidance that I'm going to talk to you about in this video, in this podcast. Now, if you're looking to join the police as well, it's important that you listen to this, watch this, because I think there's a lot of inspiration and guidance in here for you that's going to help you on your final interviews. Now, the sort of question that you're going to be asked at your board, and remember every force runs their boards in completely different ways, is around things like, now let's take a look at Greater Manchester Police, 10-minute presentation where they're probably going to ask you how as a sergeant, how as an inspector would you implement the new plan on the page. Now, whether it's plan on the page, force priorities, force values and priorities, doesn't really matter. I'm going to talk to you about the 5 Ps, the things that are important to make sure that you've got in your presentation for you to be able to completely nail it, and also a bit of a structure for you as well in terms of the why, the how and the what. Now, if you're listening to this thinking, yeah, but I'm just a potential recruit, there's many a force out there that asks you to do a presentation, and sometimes those presentations are on things like what are the challenges that this force faces, and how as a new recruit, how as an officer are you going to be able to help support us to meet those challenges. So don't think that this isn't for you. Forces are increasingly making their final interviews more complex, more complicated, more challenging. Why? Because they've got such a big pool to choose from. They've got to get the numbers down. So they're going to put you through quite a tough process depending on the force. So the one thing it struck me, I did some one-to-one the other day, and by the way, you can find the links to all my services and one-to-ones for and the group webinars that I have for serving officers. It's £3.33 a month to join, and also all the different services for potential recruits, everything you need, links below, plus the Facebook groups that you can join as well, and they're completely free. So there's so much stuff, so much support out there that I've got for you. But anyway, recently I was doing some one-to-one coaching with a client, and I'm not going to say which force they're going for. No, I am. It's Greater Manchester Police. And we were practicing that sort of 10-minute presentation. How as a sergeant will you implement the plan on the page? Now, what struck me through this presentation and what we discussed and what we did and was how the 5 Ps were absolutely instrumental in everything that this client did and will do to be successful in their board. I'm quite sure they are going to be successful in their board. So the first thing was passion. It was really clear right from the offset that this client was absolutely passionate about being in the role of a sergeant. They'd already been an acting sergeant, so they know exactly what it's like, and the passion just oozed out. Now, for so many of you, when I'm doing one-to-one work with you, or you're practicing on one of my webinars, you come across as if you're telling a story about how you're going to go shopping tomorrow. You know, there's no passion in there. I want to hear that you're going to be an awesome sergeant, an awesome inspector, someone I can believe in, because if I can't believe in you on a board, how are the constables, how are the sergeants going to believe in you? So passion, passion, passion. Let's see some passion in what you are presenting to the board members. Second one, purpose. Do you know your purpose? Do you know why the plan on the page is so important? Do you know why the force values are so important? And do you know how as a sergeant or how as an inspector you're the actual linchpin in delivering those? Do you know what your purpose is? So that's something that came across in their presentation as well. It was really clear that they knew their purpose. The third thing, really important before you start looking at performance and case file improvement or whatever it might be, is people. Yes, people. And this client absolutely nailed that as well in terms of the importance of the welfare and the well-being of the people that they were going to supervise and enable. And that really oozed across. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. They really believed that in their role, they've got such a massive role in supporting the well-being and the welfare of the individuals on their team. And that's really important, because if you don't get that right, it doesn't matter what performance regimes you've got. It doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve. If you are on an unhappy ship, you're not going to get anywhere. So what are you going to do to ensure that your team is a happy team? What are you going to do to ensure that the individuals on your team are in a good place? Now, in one of the Enforce Advancement Group workshops last week, we spent about an hour on this, on one of the questions, which would be around how would you ensure the welfare and the well-being of your team if you were promoted to sergeant. And this candidate had all the ideas, but they just didn't talk about how they would do it. So we utilised a model there, which is the why, the how and the what. So why is it important, first of all? How are you going to deliver on it? And just pick sort of 3 or maybe 4 key things that you're going to deliver, because remember, you've got a short answer. You can't deliver everything. You can't talk about everything that you're going to do, but get into the weeds of how you're going to do it. Client recently who scored amazingly at their board, came top in their force for the inspectors board. They hardly focused on the CVF. They spoke from their heart. They spoke from the actual how they're going to do things. They did exactly this, 3 or 4 things that they're going to do, not just what they're going to do, but how they're going to do it. So we spent an hour really looking at the how of welfare. That recording's available to you. If you join that group, it's available to you. Actually, all the recordings of all the webinars from the past year are available to you. £3.33 a month. I'm going to have to up that price. It's ridiculous. Okay, people. Actually, there's a phrase I used years ago at a party. Someone annoyingly asked me, "So you're a sergeant in the police, are you? So what exactly does one of them do?" And I thought, I want to get rid of you really quickly. And so I just said, it's my job to make sure everyone comes to work with a smile on their face. And it's also my job to make sure they all go home with a smile on their face. And if we can do that, everything else is probably going to work out. There's my answer. I quite like that. You let me know. What do you think? Put something in the comments. What do you think? But something there about people, making sure you've got a happy ship. So if you've got a happy ship, they're more inclined to perform. And there's a lot of ideas we bat around in the Enforce Advancement Group on how to get your officers to perform. It's not by having performance regimes. It's not by having charts. It's not by having Excel spreadsheets. It's not about trying to fix everything that's broken. A lot of what we talk about is about focusing on what's working on the team and building on it, building on strong foundations that already exist. And let's not presume that the team we're taking over is dysfunctional. You're probably going to take over a team that's very, very functional, but there's some things that always need improving. Let's not focus on all the things that are broken, because if we do that, we're going to destroy the morale of the team. You can't build a house on wobbly foundations. You build a house on strong foundations. So you focus on what's working well and then build upon it. So the performance side of things, we look at that a lot because it's really important that your team perform, that they're actually focusing on the things that are important, not just the things that they think are important, but the things that the force and the communities that they're a part of believe and feel are important. So how are we going to do that? Big question. Anyway, my client had that in buckets as well. And the very last thing, pride. And this is something they didn't feel that confident about. And I'm not sure why, because I wanted them to talk on the board about how proud they would be to wear those stripes, how proud they would be to wear those pips, what it actually means to them, the pride. I was very proud to be a sergeant. I was very proud to be a constable. I was very proud to be an inspector. Didn't always get it right. But sometimes when I looked at those stripes when I first got them, I just looked, when they were permanent, after my acting days, I used to look at them. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I used to look at them and just think, I earned those. I deserve those. I'm proud to wear those. Why shouldn't you feel proud? Why shouldn't you express that on your board? Same with the pips. When I eventually got the pips and they were permanent, or substantive, no one was going to take those away from me. I was proud to be an inspector. It meant something to me. It goes back to that purpose. What's my purpose? So I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about how proud you're going to be, how proud you're going to be to wear that uniform and be part of the team that's going to deliver, that's going to help make communities safer places. Especially as a neighbourhood inspector, I'm so proud of what I achieved as a neighbourhood inspector, together with my team, together with the communities that I was a part of, as opposed to being apart from. I'm awesomely proud. So why shouldn't you be proud ahead of time? Passion, purpose, people, performance, pride. These for me are the 5 things, the 5 Ps, that if you remember these and you focus on these things, you're not going to go far wrong in your board. Put the CVF to one side. That's just a load of words. They describe what they're looking for, but let's be honest, the people who are assessing you, they don't understand it either. The final thing I think they're assessing you on, if I was a superintendent on a board, I'd be looking at you as a future inspector or sergeant thinking, ultimately, can I see this person at 4 o'clock in the morning where everything's going pear-shaped, everything that can go wrong is going wrong? Can I see them keeping the wheel on? All right, I might come in at 7 and the wheel might be a bit wobbly, but I can take care of that as a superintendent. I've got people who can help put the wheel back on properly and firmly. I don't want to come in at 7 o'clock in the morning now and find it spun off out of control. Is this sergeant the sort of person who's going to be able to hold the team together, keep themselves together, and keep the wheel on? Is this inspector the person that I can see as being representing the chief officer on this divisional borough, being in command of it and delivering whilst I'm asleep, tucked up in my bed, unless I'm the night silver superintendent? But that, I think, is the ultimate question. If the answer is yes, you're going to get promoted. If the answer is, do you know, they just BS me with a load of CVF babble, I didn't understand half of what they were talking about, then you're not going to get promoted. Honestly, you're not. I so firmly believe that. After 26 years of doing this, I so firmly believe that. They're assessing you for your ability to keep the wheel on. They need to believe in you. So believe in yourself, get them to believe in you, and you're going to crack it. So folks, hopefully that's been supportive and helpful for you. As ever, if you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube or podcast, or just message me on Facebook. There's so many ways you can get in touch with me. Go to the website, bluelightonline.co.uk. You can WhatsApp me there as well. My goodness, all these different ways of connecting with people. I hope you enjoyed it, folks, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye for now.